Akkor angolul beszélek. I am Kirsten Dilholm. I am rendezvous from this performance from Warhammer, and I am artistic director of Danish company Hotel Pro Forma. I don't know if you know anything about Hotel Pro Forma. A few of you know. I'll just say very short about it. We are based in Copenhagen. We exist since 1985. We'd made like 50 productions. We are only a few people in the core. I and a manager and a technical director. But when we make productions, we get big, we engage performers and technicians, and I collaborate with other artists from other disciplines. We don't have a theater house, we just have an atelier. So we use houses, buildings, like the theater, or like buildings that is not a theater, like a town hall or other buildings, universities and places which may be interesting from the architecture. The architecture is very important for me, and I think for everybody, but I really use the architecture as a co-player. We do very different kinds of performances. We can have 700 people during 1 week or one person during 20 minutes. But the most normal kind of performance is a performance with 10 to 15 performers and duration of 1 hour 20. And today, you will see 1 hour 20 with 12 singers. I do use I make a lot of performances with music, but also sometimes with text for actors, and sometimes no text. What we really do is something between exhibition and performance. I myself, I'm a visual artist, I'm not trained in theater, and I used to say I hate theater. I don't really know now because it's a challenge. How can you make good theater where you are not being bored and start to sleep? But this is what I'm trying to do. And I really like to make something which is a living picture. So I depart from the visuals, from the picture side. We have been here 2 years ago in this house performing a piece called Operation Orfeo with a big staircase. Anybody seen it? Oh, man, wow, very good. I hope you liked this. Operation Orfeo was also, it was created for the big stage, and it was a piece, the first piece we made for the theater. That was in 1993. And since then, I've made more pieces for the stage. And with Operation Orfeo, I started to collaborate with the Latvian radio choir in 2007. It was a new choir which I used for this performance, which already existed. And with them, we traveled in Europe and made 30 performances with Operation Orfeo. So when you have seen it, it's the same, well, the singers come from the same choir. Some of them are the same singers, and they are very, very good singers. So 3 years ago, the director from the choir in Riga asked if we could do something new, made specifically for the choir. And this is now War Sum Up. The title or the subject of war, it came because we have a war in Afghanistan. Denmark is in war. And this is the first time I have experienced a war so close. We have dead soldiers coming back, and it never happened before since the Second World War. So I thought war is a good subject. There's always a war somewhere in the world. And I didn't want to tell about one specific war, but it's war. It's a summing up of all wars, of any war. With Hotel Pro Forma, I always have big subjects. It's not like we don't really deal with marriage problems or couple problems. But we have subjects like perspective and gravity, like the myth of Orfeo, money, Darwin, Jesus, China, the Middle East. Soon also it will be Cosmos. In 2 years we have another production. So I like to have the big subjects and treat them, look at it from above, and see what can we tell about this subject. So I come back to the choir. The conductor had one composer he would like to work with, Santa Radniece. She is classically trained. And when I have one classically trained composer, then I say, then we also need a pop composer. Because I like very much to work with oppositions, to work with different things that maybe normally don't have anything to do with each other, but put it into this one piece. So I found the group called The Irrepressibles in London, and the singer Jamie McDormand, and asked him also to compose music. So the music you will hear is by 2 different composers. And we gave them different parts of our composition, of our dramaturgical composition. You do this and you do that, and they did not work together at all. But somehow it works very well when it comes into one piece. And there was an inspiration from Japan. We had discussed something about Japan culture. And when you say Japan, immediately I think of manga. You know the cartoons, the manga cartoons. It's a very big notion in Japan. So I started thinking of how to use this manga universe, which is very violent and simple in one way, and also very artistic. And then I found, by accident, some books in a bookstore in Paris, how to draw manga. So books just with simple drawings, where you can learn to draw the eye and the ear and the nose and the foot and the body, and I really like these drawings, these books, because they are so simple. And with these simple drawings, I can tell the story about man who becomes a machine, a war machine. So we got a lot of these drawings and used them for the projection in the piece, you will see. When I think of war, I think of something which is simple and complex at the same time, as life, as art, as anything. And for that, I think these manga drawings would be very good to tell the story. But also, we wanted to present a few characters to have the main role, you can say. That's not a plot. That's not a real story. But there are some characters who give associations. And it is the soldier, of course, but it's a modern soldier. And the modern soldier suffers from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. He dies in an explosion, and they make a monument out of him. Fighter who goes into the battle because of religious or ideologic reasons. He's also killed. But in Japan and many places, they believe if you're killed or if you die unnaturally, you become a ghost, a specter. And also there were some fantastic drawings in these books, how to draw a ghost. So I wanted to use that. So he becomes a ghost. And then we have a woman, a lady. She's a spy. But she's more like from the fantasy genre. She is caught, but she is able to free herself because she becomes a superwoman. So she has a fantastic pop song as a superwoman. And you have the civilians, the rest of the choir, they are kind of people, civilians. Also, there is a game master, a lady on the front stage in yellow dress. We started to call her the game master. She starts the piece and she ends the piece. But also, I wanted her to do something on the front stage. So I put all these chairs you can see here. I put them so she had something to do. So she's cleaning. She's doing the cleaning and she's knitting. And she's like the normal person, the normal human being who will keep life going on, whatever war there is around her. The singing, the words, the libretto, they sing in Japanese. I hope you will have the subtitles today. There should be subtitles in Hungarian. There should be subtitles also for this performance in Hungarian, because you cannot understand what they're singing. But the words, the libretto is taken from the old No theater, the Japanese No theater. There are many plays, and we could take out some text from these plays, which they're singing. And the costumes are made by Danish fashion designer Henrik Vipskov. So I worked together with a guy who knows about the No theater, and we make a composition, a dramaturgical composition of each chapter. You can say the chapter for the soldier, the chapter for the warrior, and so on. And for these chapters, these scenes, we find the drawings that we would like to show. And then we start a long process, you know that, I suppose, when you want to make animation. A long process of drawings and how we can treat them. We were thinking a lot about that we cannot compete, we cannot make competition with the whole video manga animation world. It's very, I mean, you need a lot of money for that. And we don't have, and also we didn't want to do that. So the assignment was to make it simple, but still work. You could say still give it many layers. So for that we work with 2 screens here. This is what normally you wouldn't see, because normally your audience will come here and there will be the curtain, you know. So this is exception. So we have the thin front screen, and then we have a scaffolding, just 2 floors, a scaffolding, simple scaffolding where the singers are standing, and behind that we have a big screen again. So we have front and rear projection, and this gives possibility for getting very deep images and getting many layers. And sometimes it seems very flat. Sometimes we go into the depths, so we can jump from 2 and 3D. And I really like this play with the flat and the depths. I like optical illusion. I like to work with perception. So this we do with the 2 projections. Yeah, this kind of project. It is a long process, which is from the beginning of the idea. It's 3 years before we have a premiere. We premiered last year in the opera in Riga. So the year before we had some musical workshops, and so the music is really developed out there, and here we develop the images. So we don't collaborate until rather late, actually. So we create the images, the visual side, without knowing the music for a long time. We know maybe more or less the timing of the pieces, but we don't know what it sounds like until rather late. But I'm used to doing it like that, and I like to do it because I would like to be surprised. So I like that when the elements in the production are developed very carefully in one house and another visual side in another house. But some months before the premiere, I got the music and could attach it with the images, which we worked out in a model, just a small model. And I make a kind of, you can say, choreography or composition where the singers have to be, like a storyboard. So when we come to Riga for 3 weeks rehearsal, which is not very much, which is very little, with the singers, I know where they have to be from my storyboard. We work with students for 4 to 5 days to be standing where I made them stand, and we put light on them so we can see what it looks like. And then when singers are coming, then I know more or less where they have to be. So, because the time with singers is precious, we have to be careful to use the time very carefully. Many things have to come together in the last weeks before premiere. But we were lucky this time that we could rehearse on the big stage in the opera in Riga. which is very seldom you can do that. It's really wonderful when you have occasion to work one-to-one in a real size before premiere.